Usually you'd say the Astros, they're the better team. They were the better team throughout the regular season. If momentum's a thing, they obviously have all the momentum in the world. And these 5 games notwithstanding, home field does matter a bit. But Strasburg's been better than Verlander.
Yep.
And this is, the Astros have, Chris, an enormous edge in the series because the Nationals have to treat this like a Game 7 just to get to a Game 7. They've got,
yes.
But would I be shocked if the Nationals won the series? At this point, yes. Would I be shocked if they won this game? Not at all, especially Verlander, as great as he is, the only 0-5 pitcher ever in the World Series. So that's, to me, the Nationals got a real shot tonight, but what they're going to have to do to win tonight is going to put them in a very tough position to win tomorrow.
And what they have to do is get runners on base. Verlander gives up more home runs than anyone in Major League Baseball. So you know he's going to give up the long ball. He has this postseason, so get some runners on base. Have the long ball. The balls aren't juiced up that much in the postseason. Then they would have a chance. But the Nationals have not been able to come through with the clutch hitting. So the Astros, I believe it's a lot of pressure on them. Do they have the momentum? Yes, but I do believe with Verlander not pitching the way that he has pitched, what we're used to, and the pressure on him, do they stay with him? What if he gets rocked earlier? The skipper has been very, very patient with him, so do they stay with him early if he gives up a couple long balls?
And the Nationals thinking, could they possibly, if they get to a Game 7, if Max Scherzer's back spasms all of a sudden go away, could they or neck and back issues, could they have him for a Game 7, which they never would have expected? So tonight's game, obviously, the Astros could win their 2nd title in 3 years, or the Nationals could force one of the best things in the world, a Game 7 of the World Series.
It is turning into a better series than I think a lot of people thought coming into this one. All right, Game 6 tonight. We'll get to the Browns' struggles in just a second, but first, Steelers and Dolphins, some highlights from this one last night.
On a 3rd and 20, that went for a touchdown, one of the more bizarre plays of the year.
Pelicans-Warriors. Pelly's forward Brandon Ingram drives baseline, throws down the one-handed jam over Jordan Poole.
Listen, I've been a Brandon Ingram skeptic to a degree. He has had to take on the lion's share of scoring in New Orleans. He's averaging north of 25 a game very early in the season. He looks so much better than Lonzo does in New Orleans.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. He misses Zion, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, the whole team does. But Brandon Ingram, the biggest piece of that Anthony Davis trade, he's playing really well.
All right, Sixers and Hawks. Joel Embiid driving, dunking all over John Collins, and then hits a little shimmy to celebrate.
Yeah, a lot of people knew Joel Embiid wasn't. He said generally he also lost weight. He wasn't going to trash talk anymore. We knew it wasn't going to last long, Nick.
This was a great game.
Yes.
But, man, 22-year veteran Cris Carter takes the attempted game winner. Trae Young was open near the logo, man. Let the young kid have his moment. A very good win for Philly in a game it looked like they could lose.
And Atlanta's a really exciting team.
No doubt. Oh,
Kings and Nuggets. Rashawn Holmes posterizing Will Barton.
Oh, you know why that happened, right? You know why that happened. Because you tried to take that weak side charge instead of going
it's because Luke Walton is the coach, man. Anywhere he goes, a bunch of losses soon to follow.
That one worked out for the Kings right there, the dunk. This is, come on, man, go up and contest. What are you doing? That's what happens to you. You're in the NBA, man, trying to take a charge. Dangerous play. I don't like that at all.
Dangerous play.
On to the Browns now.
His legs out underneath.
Turnovers have plagued their season in just about every game. Case in point, this past Sunday in New England, 2 Nick Chubb fumbles and a Baker Mayfield interception turned a 3-0 Patriots lead into a 17-point deficit in a matter of minutes. Browns are 2-5. And Odell Beckham Jr. knows what the narrative will be if they continue down this path.
If we don't correct
one wild card spot, well, then their game this weekend against Buffalo is their Super Bowl. Because Buffalo off to a 5-2 start. If they are going to get
Buffalo a week from now.
Okay.
Denver this week, Buffalo a week from now.
I'm getting them through Denver.
Okay.
That Buffalo
Denver
game
with their Brandon Allen.
Yeah, Flacco out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that should be a win for them. But that Buffalo game. And, Nick, if they're going to get in the playoffs, it's going to be by a wild card. So that right there would get them to 4-5. Like, they can't afford another loss until they get to at least one game above 500. So, to me, do I think they can win 4 or 5 in a row? No. And the reason why is because when you put together a roster like this, and it's a lot like the team in Philadelphia a number of years ago, and Vince Young said, oh, it's the dream team. Well, let me tell you what, when you think about it, when you put together a team like that, You have to put together a bunch of misfits. And that's guys who haven't achieved what they wanted to other places, and they're all in one place. And it's hard not for when you are a misfit not to be selfish. I understand this. When I went to Minnesota, they had 9 Pro Bowlers at the time. After the Herschel Walker trade, they were good enough to get to 11-5, 10-6. But because we had so many misfits, and then me coming from Philadelphia, another misfit, it became hard for us to generate team chemistry, and everyone else's goal was just as important as yours. So to me, when you put together a team like this, that's why last year, Jenna, you questioned the Rams. Will they be able to handle all the personalities? But because Wade Phillips is a special coach, and most of those personalities were on the defense, I would feel better if the personalities were on the defense with the defensive coordinator compared to Freddie Kitchen having to manage most of the misfits, which are on the offensive side of the ball. You can go down. You can go down from Chubb. You can go down to Callaway. Landry led the NFL in receiving one time in Miami, didn't win a bunch of games. OBJ has not won a playoff game. So Kareem Hunt's coming back next week. Baker Mayfield, he's been to a couple schools. So a bunch of misfits for Freddie Kitchens to be dealing with that in his first year. To me, I believe it's too much. But when you try to corral talent, you realize that I'm corralling a lot of selfishness in doing that.
But just quickly, with the Rams, we knew that Sean McVay was a young coach, but Wade Phillips was there, and he was far more of a veteran coach on defense to be able to be that sort of voice in the locker room. The Browns don't really have that. It's sort of a young team, young players, young coach, and it almost has this feel like they're all sort of going through it together.
Well, to me, I think all those are good points, but I also think for the Browns, sometimes we make it too complicated. They turn the ball over an outrageous amount. They have a ridiculous amount of penalties, and they're a terrible red zone team. Now, that can be put on the players, the coaching staff, all of the above.
Well, penalties a lot of times, because I know they're not coaching that in Cleveland. A lot of penalties come from selfishness and trying to protect doing your assignment. But you're going to set the team back. So to me, everyone can't afford penalties. So to me, a lot of penalties are very, very selfish.
And so, I mean, it can all be part and parcel of the same thing. Well, I think Odell's right, though. That the Browns, this is if the season had not already reached a breaking point, it is right now, because we said when the schedule came out, if they can get through the New England game and have 3 wins, they're going to be okay. If they can have 4 wins after 7 games, they're going to be in great shape, because we knew, before we even knew Pittsburgh was going to be a bad team, we knew that Denver, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Miami, Pittsburgh again, Cincinnati, Arizona, Baltimore, which is a tough game, but the one good team they've beaten, and then Cincinnati to finish the season.
It all lightens up at the end.
So my question would be this. They play Baltimore in Week 16. You said the path would be the second wild card, or if Baltimore falls off, to get back in the division. Can you win 6 of 7 games going into the Baltimore game? Have the Browns given us any evidence they can play 2 months of quality football?
No.
They haven't. That's the problem.
They can't put together 2 quarters.
I was just going to say, there was a quarter in Seattle. There was 1 quarter against the Ravens. You could pick and choose quarters, but not even consecutive quarters.
So what they are going to have to do is undergo mid-season a transformation. It's not impossible. We saw Dallas do it last year, but they had a reason for it. An injection of Amari Cooper, and the team got healthier. And say what you will about Jason Garrett at least knows what he's doing as a head coach. I don't know if that's the case in Cleveland. To me, the middle tier of the AFC is very soft, so I don't want to cross them off as a relevant team. But what they have to do is, over the next 7 weeks, they've got 1 loss to play with. Can they do that? Can they, in games where they won't be a heavy underdog, if they're an underdog at all, most of these games will either be favorites or slight underdogs, can they play to what Vegas will say, what the odds makers will say is the standard? They haven't been able to up to this point.
So what makes you think they can? Because of their opposition?
Well, because I am
They're suddenly not going to turn the ball over? Baker's suddenly not going to press?
Well, I don't know that I've said at any point in this, I think they can.
Okay.
What I'm saying is the path is still there. Like the path of, if we thought at 3-4 they would be fine, at 2-5 all hope is not lost, but they got to reel off 3 straight wins. They have to beat this Brandon Allen kid who's never taken an NFL snap. Then they have to beat Josh Allen. Then on a Thursday night, they have to take care of a home game against Pittsburgh just to get, they got to do all that just to get to 500. But that, to me, those are all 3 winnable football games for this Browns team.
And then, Jenna, even if they do that, they got to learn how to handle success.
Yes.
They're not handling failure where. Remember, it's all the media's fault. It's all the media. You guys come up with this. The refs are against them. So I haven't seen anything that would say they're going to be able to survive this. I don't think Freddie Kitchens is going to survive his first year there, because when you have that type of offensive talent and you are an offensive coach and it's your first assignment, given the blunders and the lack of continuity, if you're looking at one problem, right now it would be Freddie Kitchens. Now, I know the offensive line is a problem. Will they be able to pull off the trade for Trent Rims before today at 4 o'clock on the trade deadline? That would help them out. Nick, you talked about teams making a transformation. They did that last year when they named Freddie Kitchens the offensive coordinator. But to me, if they do that, you're going to have a bunch of guys, selfish wide receivers, complaining. Jarvis Landry's going to be complaining, and OBJ's going to be complaining, because they don't have the personnel to drop back and throw it 40 times. They cannot protect Baker Mayfield, and he's not to the point where he's going to take care of the ball. So if they were going to give a facelift to the team, they need to become a running team. Give Chubb the workload. I give him 30 carries this week. And then next week,
you got Kareem Hunt.
They got a better running back. Kareem Hunt is a better running back than Chubb. And then I become a 2-headed monster, and I don't care about them low diva wide receivers complaining, because I cannot support them by dropping the quarterback and waiting for them to get open down the field. So let's see if the next 2 weeks, what is the run-pass ratio, because that is the only way they're going to be able to salvage their season, change their identity, and become a running team compared to a pass-happy team.
You're a diva little wide receiver.
Yeah, but I'm grown now, and I'm potty
break.
trained.
Coming up, well, that's the difference there, isn't it? Is the Patriots schedule about to expose their flaws? That's next. This is First Things First.
By the time